The sonnet is a lyric poem of 14 lines following one of a few preset rhyme schemes. The two kinds of sonnets we'll discuss most frequently, the two kinds that matter the most in English poetry, are the Italian sonnet, also called the Petrarchan sonnet, and the English sonnet, also called the Shakespearean sonnet. A third kind of sonnet, less common but also one to learn, is the Spenserian sonnet. The first sonnet form, the oldest of the three, is the Italian or Petrarchan sonnet. These sonnets have a rhyme scheme that begins A-B-B-A, A-B-B-A, and then ends with 6 lines that rhyme either C-D-E, C-D-E, or C-D-C, C-D-C, or C-D-E, D-C-E. We divide Italian sonnets into 2 parts. The first 8 lines we call the octave, and the last 6 lines we call the sestet. These 2 parts of the sonnet are divided by an invisible line. We call this the volta. The English or Shakespearean sonnet grew out of the Italian sonnet, but it's so different that it warrants a separate classification. The English sonnet has not 2 sections, but 4. It has 3 quatrains, each with their own rhyme scheme, and a final concluding rhymed couplet. The most common rhyme scheme for the English sonnet is A-B, A-B, C-D, C-D, E-F, E-F, G-G. The Spenserian sonnet combines the Italian and the English forms. It uses 3 quatrains and a final couplet, but employs linking rhymes between the quatrains. These rhyme A-B, A-B, B-C, B-C, C-D, C-D, E-E. In an Italian sonnet, the 2-part division is often used to set up a problem or a question, a proposition or an argument, and then to answer or respond to it. The octave asks the question, the sestet answers it. The octave shoulders the burden, the sestet alleviates it. The octave presents the story, the sestet provides the moral. In an English sonnet, this business of asking questions and providing answers still happens, but the divide, the volta, is not always in the same place. We've just discussed the general rules of sonnet form. Now let's admit that those rules are regularly broken. The octave and sestet division is not always kept. The placing of the volta is not always set. The rhyme scheme often varies. Iambic pentameter is usually the meter, but here and again, some poets experiment with hexameter and other meters. Certain features are common to all sonnets. The length restriction of 14 lines and the set rhyme schemes are challenging. To master this form requires a lot of technical skill and artistry. The strict structure means that individual words are invested with a great deal of value, because there are in fact so few words. There is an emphasis on being precise with language. Sonnets are often collected in sequences. Shakespeare wrote the most famous of the English sonnet sequences, 154 sonnets in total. In the Romantic period, the most famous sonneteer, bar none, was a poetess by the name of Charlotte Smith. She wrote her elegiac sonnets to make money, to feed her 7 children. Her sonnets were a huge hit.